Everyone, if you could please find... Everyone, if you can please find your seats. Can you hear it? Didn't sound last week. It's somewhat working. I don't know how loud it is. Everyone in the back, if you could please find your seats. All right, now that you found your seats, I'll ask you to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation. All right, good evening, everyone. Oh, actually, please remain standing for the national anthem.
We like to do that. We like to trick you a little bit. So please rise for the national anthem. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Walt Whitman sophomore Sarah Brazel up to our podium for the singing of the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
All right, everyone can please sit. An amazing performance by Sarah. Once again, a round of applause for Sarah. Beautiful. All right, I will now turn over tonight's very special program to the very capable hands of our Assistant Superintendent, Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Cepeda. We have one more performance before we get started this evening. It's with great pleasure that I introduce Walt Whitman High School senior Anthony Maraboli, who will be performing Etude Un Sospiro by Franz Liszt. Thank you, Anthony and Sarah. It's always incredible to see the talents that our students have and to be able to showcase them here tonight. Anthony, you will certainly be missed next year. Sarah, you're back in next year. Good evening, Dr. D'Elia, Mr. Ciapetta, members of Board of Education, my fellow administrators, teachers, families, and community members. I'd like to officially welcome you to South Huntington's Teacher of the Year celebration. Before we begin, I would like to thank my friend and colleague, Miss Joanne Padilla. I'm going to do this to you. You got to stand up for me. Come on. Oh, okay. Really, Joanne makes tonight possible. She's behind the scenes helping each and every step of the way and making sure that this evening goes smoothly, which is never easy when she's actually supervising me. So it's a great compliment. I'd also like to thank Liz DeMonte, Lee Tyrell, and Christina Wright from South Huntington's Public Relations team for their hard work preparing our presentation tonight. Thank you so much. And of course, you guys in the front row. So finally, a special thank you to the 7 educators we are here honoring this evening. I am truly humbled to share this space with each and every one of you. Please join me in a round of applause for them. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Vito D'Elia.
First of all, thank you, Anthony and Sarah. I know we're here to honor tonight 7 wonderful individuals, but seeing the product of what Anthony and Sarah produced tonight is truly, truly amazing. And I also realized that I became a pretty big fan of some students with a 2-hour delay from last week as I was getting some ovation coming here. I didn't know a 2-hour delay would do that. It is with great pleasure that I'm here tonight to join in recognizing 7 individuals who have made such an impact on the lives of our students in each of their respective buildings. Teacher of the Year is a special event where we are able to acknowledge the hard work and efforts of those who our district feels have gone above and beyond to ensure the success of our students and district. Every year, we have a chance to honor a special group of teachers whose dedication and devotion to their students has been noticed by families, administrators, and colleagues. These individuals are truly committed to the ideals that every student can succeed and provide whatever is necessary to ensure that they meet success. I have come to love this event not only for the ability to recognize the unsung heroes of the teaching world, but to acknowledge publicly the hardworking individuals of South Huntington. It is they who give us examples to emulate within our professional career. I truly believe that teaching is a calling, where those that accept the challenge commit themselves fully to improve the lives of our students without the thought of praise or reward. A district can only become successful when it is filled with dedicated educators that accept this challenge willingly. I can honestly say that the dedicated educators, I lost my place, I'm sorry, and I admit it, that accept this, educators is something that we have in abundance here in South Huntington. We have a ton of wonderful teachers here. The level of commitment and support our teachers give to the South Huntington community is something I wish other districts could emulate to find that same culture of success. These 7 teachers in particular have shown us their dedication to South Huntington, despite any obstacles that may have come up. Each of these educators have learned to adapt and excel to fit the needs of our ever-changing student population and still show the same success with our students despite these changes. As educators, we've come to accept that many times we are not acknowledged for what we do to inspire. But it's events like this that allows us to be able to identify these efforts of our outstanding educators for a job well done. Please join me in congratulating Sabrina, Beth, Linda, Jenny, Ralph, and Dolores for attaining Teacher of the Year in South Huntington. Congratulations.
And we are fortunate enough to have some of our elected officials with us tonight. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Suffolk County Legislature Stephanie Bontempi.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for having us, participate in this wonderful event. So first of all, congratulations to all of you. I used to teach for close to 20 years, so I know how extremely challenging it can be, but also how extremely rewarding it can be. And like Dr. Donadia just mentioned, you don't always necessarily get the proper recognition, but you are all amazing people, and what you do for the students in your charge and their families will have a long-lasting positive impact. So congratulations again, and keep doing the wonderful job that you're doing. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
And Suffolk County Legislature, Rebecca Sannon. Sorry, Rebecca.
Good evening, everyone. It is such a joy to be here tonight. I'm surrounded by a room full of the most powerful people on Long Island, and I really do believe that, and I really do mean that, because when you are a teacher, you are impacting the trajectory of children's lives for generations to come, and there is no other career where we can claim that incredible power. So I just want to start by applauding you for being who you are. I had this experience yesterday. I was driving in the car with my father, who's 87 years old. He's a veteran. He's 87 years old, and he has some dementia. And we were driving in the car, and I was playing music that was streaming through the radio, and all of a sudden, some tune triggered a memory in his mind, and he started telling me all about his high school music teacher, Mrs. Stills. And he spent the rest of the ride telling me all the things that she did that he and his sister used to love. And so I say that to say to the teachers here today, your impact, lasts 87 years and beyond in people's minds and in their hearts, because what you do is to truly nurture not only the education and the vocations that children pursue, but also their souls and their hearts and who they are, and it lasts, and that's really powerful. I often think and study history for examples of ideas that are important that we need to consider in our society, and I look back and see what JFK did many, many years ago when he decided that we were going to engage in space exploration as a country. And he went to Congress and implored Congress to help fund this process, that we were going to go to the moon and we were going to change our viewpoint on the world. And what was so amazing at that time is that the tools to get there hadn't been invented yet. So he had the guts to go out there and say, we're going to do this, and I need you to support this, without having any idea how that was actually going to happen. And as teachers, every single day you look at the children in your classrooms and you have a vision, you can see potential that they have no idea that they have. You can believe in them and pour into them a vision for their future that is brighter than they and often their families can even imagine. And that is very much an analogy. Because while we may not know how that child is going to get there, the true ingredients that encourage a child to get there is the love and the support of teachers. And all of the research shows it just takes one loving adult to make a difference in the life of a child. And each and every one of you do that every day. And right now, we know that our schools are facing lots of challenges. Children are struggling more than they have in the past, post-COVID, with mental health issues and so many additional challenges. But the reality is, when you're investing in that child's education, when you're investing in those children, you're nurturing their light. And we know that when any child's light is made dim, it makes the whole world darker. But when any child's light is made brighter, when any child is encouraged to be the best version of themselves, it helps to nurture the leaders of tomorrow to solve the complex challenges we face. So it is in halls like these and auditoriums like these that legacies are built. And the architect of those legacies are our teachers. So congratulations.
Thank you both, Legislature Bontempi and Sannon, for joining us this evening. Thank you for those beautiful words. And certainly you're going to hear that echoed by all our colleagues this evening. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce our SHTA President, Mr. Rob Morris.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This evening, we gather to celebrate and honor the exceptional dedication and hard work of our teachers. Teacher of the Year honorees. It is with great pride and admiration that we extend our heartfelt congratulations to these remarkable individuals who have helped shape future generations. Their tireless efforts and passion for education have not only impacted their students, but also the South Huntington community as a whole. They have selfishly dedicated themselves to foster a loving, learning and nurturing environment for all the students that have crossed their paths. The impact of a great teacher extends far beyond the classroom, influencing countless young lives. These Teacher of the Year nominees or honorees embody the very essence of what it means to inspire and guide and empower the leaders of tomorrow. We are truly privileged to have such outstanding individuals at the forefront of the South Huntington Teachers Association. Everyone remembers that one teacher who stands out amongst the others. Well, tonight, Beth Ann, Sabrina, Linda, Dolores, Virginia, Jenny, and Ralph, you are that one. Tonight, we not only honor you, but we thank you for your unwavering dedication to your students and the entire South Huntington community. Congratulations, and thank you for the incredible work you do every day.
Thank you, Rob. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce our South Huntington Board of Education President, Mr. Nicholas Ciapetta.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Good evening, everyone. I can speak for the board in saying that this is their favorite meeting of the year. First, though, I'd like to start with a remembrance, because we lost a member of our community and our teaching family recently, Mr. Dennis Muldoon. Mr. Muldoon began his career at Central Elementary as a student teacher in the late 1960s and retired from Maplewood Intermediate School in June of 2003. And news of his passing prompted many former students to recall very fond memories of Mr. Muldoon and his unique teaching style. I spent the time perusing the internet, and I found an online tribute book for Mr. Muldoon. And one person wrote showing his impact. "My heart is broken, college included, the best teacher I have ever had. What a fine man and a great example. He taught me so much, more than just academics. He made coming to school fun, and I look forward to it. He will never be forgotten. Rest in peace, Mr. Muldoon, and thank you for everything. I have such fond memories of 6th grade, and it's all because of you." That tribute shows the power of a teacher and why we're here tonight. A teacher's impact, like Mr. Muldoon's, goes so far beyond just a single year. It lasts a lifetime. A great teacher may retire or pass away, but he or she is never truly forgotten. That is why we celebrate you tonight, to recognize those South Huntington teachers who inspire and who challenge. And while you richly deserve tonight's celebration and the adulation of your friends and colleagues, your true reward is knowing that you belong to a profession that changes the lives of so many students and that they will remember you into adulthood. No plaque or award that we give you tonight could possibly equal that reward. So on behalf of the Board of Education, congratulations to tonight's 7 honorees: Sabrina Cariello of Countrywood, Beth Ann Fierro of Oakwood, Linda Muratori of Maplewood, Virginia Stair of Silaswood, Jenny Hernandez of Stimson Middle School, Ralph Malazzo of Walt Whitman High School, and of course from Birchwood, the South Huntington Teacher of the Year, Dolores Refrano. And I have to say, I'll go off script for a minute. I was there when Dr. D'Elia and Mr. Smith and others surprised Dolores in a huge, it was a huge gathering of students, actually. They were having a presentation, and it was one of the most heartwarming moments I can remember on being on the Board of Education. And I was working from home that day. I took a break, so. And then after that, I went back and I thought, what a gift. What a gift to be able to be there and to celebrate that moment. And I was so envious of not being a teacher and with the impact that you had on those students and how those students felt your joy and how they were truly so excited for you. And it was such a special moment to behold and one you truly deserve, and I know you'll remember for the rest of your life. So we'll move on, and I want to congratulate everyone again. The Board of Education is so profoundly grateful for your professionalism, your dedication, and your devotion to our students. You truly represent the very best of South Huntington. Congratulations.
All right, at this time we move to our principal presentations. It's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Mitch Levy, Principal for Countrywood.
Good evening. Good evening, Dr. D'Elia, Mr. Ciapetta, board members, cabinet, colleagues, and friends. It gives me great pleasure to speak to you this evening about Countrywood's Teacher of the Year, or as one of her students called it, Teacher of the Ear, Miss Sabrina Cariello. Sabrina is joined tonight by her mother, Lorraine, her sister and brother-in-law, Michelle and Louie, as well as nieces, nephews, and many of her Countrywood family. Miss Cariello got her start in education as a preschool teacher back in 1992, and then joined the Countrywood family during the 2001 school year, and has been well-loved and respected by staff, students, and parents alike since that time. She's been around Countrywood and South Huntington so long that she actually got the job from a newspaper advertisement. In her 20-plus years at Countrywood, Sabrina has taught both first and second grade, as well as in the dual language program. No matter what the assignment, Miss Cariello has always taken her new assignment in stride and done her job with professionalism and the utmost pride. Ms. Cariello points to some of her own teachers growing up as the reason that she chose to get into education, exactly what many of the presenters earlier were talking about. She shared that there's no better feeling than that of watching a child learn to read and watching them progress throughout the school year. While it is certainly true that Ms. Cariello is an excellent teacher, what makes her so unique, special, and deserving of this honor is the relationship that she builds and fosters and maintains with the students and their families long after they've left her classroom. There are countless students who Ms. Cariello still meets for lunch, connects with for religious celebrations, and sees them and their families for various milestones in their lives. While many teachers impact their students for the year in which they have them in the classroom, few leave such long-lasting impressions and create such lifelong, lasting bonds as friendships as Sabrina does. Ms. Cariello is always willing to go above and beyond with her students, volunteering her class for various activities, including singing in the national anthem at the Ducks game, as well as having students selected to represent Countrywood at Board of Education Recognition Night. Each year, our committee has a challenging time selecting our Teacher of the Year. However, this year, as the committee was shocked to realize that Ms. Cariello had yet to receive this award, and as soon as that realization came, she quickly became the #1 selection of the entire committee. In addition to the love that she demonstrates for her students and their families, Ms. Cariello is also an active member of the South Huntington Teachers Association, currently serving as one of the building reps. In that capacity, I can attest to the fact that Sabrina is always there for all members. She is fair, dedicated, and always works to come to a fair and equitable solution, looking out for her membership as well as the needs of the students and the building as a whole. Also, in that role, she has had to deal with me for the last 6 years, no easy task, and that alone should be enough for this award. As you can see, Ms. Cariello is a true professional with a variety of qualities that make her an outstanding choice for Countrywood's Teacher of the Year. She's dedicated to not only the academic success of her students, but their social and emotional needs and making them into lifelong learners. Congratulations, Sabrina Cariello, Countrywood's Teacher of the Year.
Well deserved.
Nope, now you stand there for a picture.
All right, a new tradition in South Huntington is all our Teacher of the Years will be receiving these glass apples, which are absolutely beautiful. but they don't match well with our terrazzo floors if dropped. So we're putting them on display. They're going to be going into the bags behind me, but it's a wonderful new tradition that we're starting this year.
I didn't want to touch the apple. I was like, I'm going to drop the apple. No, I don't trust myself with the apple. Come on in, Eddie.
Sorry, fuss on the box. Sabrina. Slide that right in there. There you go. Congratulations. Sure. Yeah. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Annie McCallion, principal of Oakwood Primary Center.
Good evening, Dr. D'Elia, Mr. Ciapetta, Board of Education, Cabinet, families, students, and staff. Please join me in congratulating Oakwood's Teacher of the Year, Miss Beth Ann Fierro. Beth Ann is joined this evening by her family, her husband Tom, her children Emma and Thomas, and her niece Sarah Wyowanek, one of our district's educators. And of course, our Oakwood family is here to cheer her on too. Beth Ann has always had a way of honoring the important work of educating students and sharing her fun spirit in the classroom and with colleagues. Ms. Fierro began her teaching career here in South Huntington in 1990. Her journey began as a second grade classroom teacher, and later she taught kindergarten for many years, including the dual language program. In 2016, Ms. Fierro extended her expertise as a math AIS support provider, where she continued to make a tremendous impact on students at Oakwood. Beth Ann enthusiastically developed unique math games to make learning fun. Her students eagerly entered her classroom to see what new math game they would learn. In Beth Ann's current role as Oakwood's math lead teacher, all students have the opportunity to learn from her as she leads the math team. Ms. Fierro is a leader and works along with her Oakwood colleagues and team in an incredibly professional manner. Beth Ann is always available to help classroom teachers introduce a math topic or lesson. She models lessons and gives fresh ideas to engage our youngest learners in grasping even the most challenging math concepts. Now, you may ask, how does she do that? How does she teach such difficult math topics to 5-, 6-, and 7-year-olds and get them to love math? Beth Ann has a very unique yet effective strategy that is consistent and is research-based. You guessed it, she uses her cheer squad method, the pom-poms. Ms. Fierro uses pom-poms to cheer students on after they have learned a new skill, gear up to take the iReady test, or get an answer correct during a lesson. It happens in the classroom, it happens in the hallway, and even at arrival and dismissal. It's pretty impressive to see how Beth Ann's pom-pom energy leads to confidence building and smiles on our students' faces. No matter what role Beth Ann has served in, students are always a priority, and her natural talents of being a teacher shine brightly. I love the pom-poms. Her classroom is filled with learning experiences, especially ones that make long-lasting memories for her students. For example, when Ms. Fierro taught kindergarten, she always went above and beyond to host a famous luau where every student had a chance to be on stage. Many of her former students still recall these memories fondly. One of Ms. Fierro's former students shared, "Ms. Fierro is a phenomenal teacher who has touched so many children's lives and changed them for the better. I know she is proud of all of her students and that getting to watch us grow up and pave the way for our own lives brings her joy. As you can see, Ms. Fierro's impact continues to make a difference in students' lives for many years to come. Ms. Fierro is an educator who knows her impact is equally important outside of the classroom walls. She gives her time to be involved in Oakwood's Instructional Analysis Committee, bingo night, trunk or treat, parent workshops, and homecoming events, just to name a few. With everything Beth Ann undertakes, including her incredible dance moves, she does it with team spirit, pride, and excellence. What do I notice about Ms. Fierro? She positively impacts the lives of her students each and every day by supporting them academically, socially, and emotionally. Beth Ann is a teacher who sings math facts with students to keep them engaged. She is a teacher who kneels at eye level listening to a student share special news. She is a teacher who is a buddy to a student who may need some extra TLC. Miss Fierro just has it. Beth Ann, tonight we celebrate you and this well-deserved honor. I am sure Mom is looking down on you, filled with happiness for you, and so proud of this professional milestone. Congratulations on being Oakwood's Teacher of the Year. We're all so proud of you.
Congratulations. Oh, I can't wait to get home and tell you were like the best teacher ever.
I'll take these from you. Yep. Get those out of the way.
She remembered John. Oh my gosh.
Robbie, you want to come up? Robbie, you want to come in the picture? Did you want to come up? Did you want to come for the picture? Congratulations. You come up.
Okay. I'm introducing Bill.
Oh, wait. The base. You forgot her base.
It's all over.
The base is going to stay.
Oh, the base is
Base is stay. Congratulations. Yeah. Where is he at?
Am I inviting Bill or you are?
Go for it. You got it.
No, okay. At this time, I invite my colleague and Maplewood's principal, Dr. Hender, to introduce Maplewood's Teacher of the Year.
Thank you, Dr. D'Elia, Mr. Ciapetta, members of the Board of Education, and the South Huntington community. Tonight, we honor our distinguished Maplewood Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Linda Muratori. Mrs. Muratori's positive energy and enthusiasm are contagious, creating a warm and welcoming atmosphere for students and staff alike. Her humility and modesty often mask her impact. From developing engaging activities to support students' language skills, to going the extra mile to ensure their overall well-being, Linda is always there. Mrs. Muratori, our speech and language expert, brings vibrant energy to her role, fostering a safe space for students facing communication challenges. Beyond the call of duty, she warrants unwavering support, exemplifying the true spirit of collaboration. Within the school, Mrs. Muratori wears many hats, orchestrating events such as the annual collection drive for local veterans and our letter writing campaign, as well as generously volunteering her time with SEPTA. Mrs. Muratori's involvement always goes beyond expectations. She supports the school-home connection through her participation in events like SEPTA's Holiday Sing-Along, and also simply by showing up at student events outside of school. As a speech therapist in South Huntington since 2015, Mrs. Muratori's impact reaches beyond sessions. Her dedication to the whole child and interest in each student's academic success and well-being is truly commendable. From delivering creative activities to sneaking out to the playground during lunch. Yes, Mrs. Muratori, we did catch you doing that. Okay? We have noticed. Her positive energy brightens the school day for everyone. Recently, a 5th grade student recommended Mrs. Muratori for Teacher of the Year. In his recommendation, he stated that despite struggling with stuttering since pre-K, he has always found unwavering support and guidance in Mrs. M. Her sessions that are filled with games and laughter not only helped him manage his stuttering, but also instilled a sense of pride and confidence. Another testament to Mrs. Muratori's exceptional qualities came from a family that has known her for many years. Mrs. Muratori's engagement, genuine nature, creativity, and dedication resonate deeply with every family she touches. Reflecting on her impact, this parent shared the story of their son, whose progress under Ms. Muratori's guidance was nothing short of miraculous. The notebook filled with lessons and activities have been saved and is a reminder of the relationship they built, showcasing Mrs. Muratori's commitment to making learning a personalized and enjoyable experience. In closing, it is with great pleasure and admiration that we congratulate Mrs. Muratori on being named Maplewood's Teacher of the Year. Her journey as an outstanding educator and individual is a source of inspiration for us all. Let's hear it one more time for Mrs. Muratori. The blue sheet says Mike. Thank you. What's that? Blue sheet says Mike. Do Steve? Okay. I would next like to call up my esteemed colleague from Silas Wood, Mr. Stephen Toto.
Good evening, Mr. Ciapetta, members of the Board of Education, Dr. D'Elia, Cabinet, colleagues, and members of my Silas Wood and South Huntington family. I am truly honored to stand before you today to celebrate not just a teacher, but an extraordinary individual who has dedicated her time to shaping minds, fostering growth, and inspiring the students of South Huntington. Today we gather to recognize Mrs. Virginia Stair as our Silas Wood Teacher of the Year. Ginny is joined this evening by her mother, Betty, her husband, Brian, and their 2 children, Elizabeth and John, and her close friends, Patty and Jen. A Walt Whitman High alumni who graduated in 1987, sorry, Ginny. South Huntington has been fortunate to count Ginny among our faculty for 19 years. I had the good fortune, when I was a 4th grade teacher and assistant principal at Birchwood, to work with her. She was also a teacher at Countrywood and for the past 4 years has made her home at Silas Wood. Mrs. Stair is a positive role model to each and every student who crosses her path, bringing her particular brand of energy to each encounter. One of my favorite things, if I ever have to call into Ginny's room and I dial 125, all I hear on the other end of the phone is, "It's a beautiful day in 125. So how could you not be happy when you hear that? Ginny engages her students through her creativity and talents, enabling them to achieve their fullest potential. Daily, she illustrates that education is not just about academics, it's about instilling values, fostering character, and preparing students for what lies ahead. Mrs. Stair's involvement in the community and with the students of South Huntington and Silas Wood does not stop in the classroom. She demonstrates that education extends far beyond textbooks and tests, but that it's about making a positive impact on the community and instilling a sense of responsibility in the hearts of students. As do many of us, Ms. Stair has had to deal with some personal challenges as her son has dealt with a rare genetic disorder. No matter what, Ginny arrives at Silas each and every day with a bright smile and a positive attitude and is the epitome of complete professionalism. Mrs. Stair has been a building rep, member of the Silas Wood SBM team, Project Excel and homework help teacher, and part of our Silas Wood safety team. She's also been part of the district and building instructional rounds team and is our 23-24 ELA coach. Last year, CARES Walk and fundraiser, which she organized along with members of the Silas Wood staff, was a tremendous success, bringing the school community together to support a worthwhile and deserving cause. Mrs. Stair, your passion for teaching, your dedication to our students, and your positive influence on not only Silas but our school community are truly admirable. Congratulations on this well-deserved recognition. And now I'd like to introduce my good friend and colleague from Stimson, Mr. Mike Duggan.
Good evening, Dr. D'Elia, Mr. Ciapetta, members of the board, cabinet members, staff, South Huntington members, and families. It is my absolute pleasure to introduce Mrs. Jenny Hernandez as the Henry L. Stimson Middle School Teacher of the Year. Joining Mrs. Hernandez tonight is her husband, Fernando, and 2 children, Giovanni and Carlos, along with other family, friends, and of course, Stimson peers. Thank you for joining us tonight. Why not? Jenny's story can be summarized into 2 words: dedication and determination. Mrs. Hernandez's dedication to her craft and students, it goes without question. Her determination for both her practice and success of her students is also without a doubt. But dedication and determination are more about Jenny's path to tonight. Her story begins as many others have. She saw the importance of facts and information and education as the pillars to a good world. This recognition led her onto the path of journalism from a young age. Jenny's story is filled with really amazing ups and downs, obstacles and successes. What's most important about Mrs. Hernandez's story is that she never allowed a single obstacle to get in her way. This is a message that she conveys to all of her students, students that may be struggling at times, struggling to learn a new subject, struggling to make new friends, struggling in a new school, struggling in a new language, or maybe even a new culture. Mrs. Hernandez is able to speak about the importance of never giving up, of pushing yourself, especially when it comes to education. In those trying times where Mrs. Hernandez had an obstacle in her way, she would go back to school many, many times, which was amazing. Specifically, she would find solace in the library. My best place is the library, she told me when reflecting back upon her journey. That is a message she brings out in her students. To never give up and to always use education as the key to unlock your future. She sees education as a huge investment. It's something that she and her family value. It's what's made her an invaluable member of both Stimson and South Huntington. I am truly overjoyed to honor Mrs. Hernandez, but in true Jenny fashion, she wanted to make sure I included special people that have helped her along the way. I want to acknowledge all of Jenny's colleagues, some who are here tonight, her husband and children again, for their support and understanding, and finally, all of the amazing educators who are being honored tonight. Putting others before herself is one of the many, many positive characteristics that Mrs. Hernandez has to offer. We at Stimson are grateful for her, are so happy to have you as our Teacher of the Year. We're overjoyed. Congratulations.
So deserved. Congratulations again, Jen. At this time, please help me in welcoming Birchwood's principal, Mr. Dimitri Bernadelle, and our
Oh, we didn't forget about him yet.
Sorry, Ralph. Wrong page. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Murphy, the principal of Walt Whitman High School, and Mr. Ralph Milazzo.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. I guess it's all right. I will forgive Mr. Duggan for forgetting me. So, gives me great pleasure. Hold on. I think I'm a little underdressed. Hold on. There we go. Now, it's supposed to be Pink Wednesday, so it's not for Fedora Friday, but I am wearing my fedora today. Thank you, Dr. D'Elia, Board of Education, parents, students, especially Ralph, our Whitman family, and also his own family, his father, his brothers and sisters, and his grandmother for being here tonight. It gives me great pleasure to be here and to talk about one of the most respected members of the Whitman faculty, Mr. Ralph Milazzo. His guidance and leadership and poise has added to the overall demeanor of the building and is a beacon for both teacher and administrate to emulate. Throughout our careers, we are rarely acknowledged for all the positive works we do. In the case of Mr. Ralph Milazzo, this could not be truer. I don't believe that many know how many countless things he does for our school and our community. Since arriving to Walt Whitman High School in 2012, he has become an irreplaceable facet of the faculty as a coach, a mentor, a teacher, and a friend. His mentorship and leadership have allowed countless students to feel empowered and become a larger part of the high school. Whether it's been on the field, in the classroom, or as an advisor of the natural helpers, Mr. Milazzo has provided support and assistance to all manner of students in their pursuit of success. What makes him so special is that he gives himself wholly to everyone around him. There is nothing more important to him than his colleagues, friends, and especially students. Ralph Milazzo graduated from Fellow Hills, we won't hold it against him, in 2008, always knowing that he wanted to become an educator based upon his own high school experiences. He's one of 4 siblings, including his sister Danielle, who is a teacher at Northport, all of which had a profound impact on him and his choice to be an educator. As an avid athlete and student, he understood how a person's school experiences can shape and mold them. His own experiences with his family, especially his brother Angelo, who was diagnosed with autism, allowed him to understand there is so much more than academics that make a student successful, where empathy, focus, and compassion are just as important as literacy and math. Mr. Milazzo always knew that his passion and drive was helping others to achieve their dreams. Throughout my time knowing him, Mr. Milazzo has shown to be a very complex individual, bringing multiple energies and positivity to whatever he is focused on. As a coach, numerous programs such as varsity football, varsity girls flag football, and JV girls basketball, he is, let's say, a little competitive, and a motivating individual, pushing his players to be the best they possibly can, while still supporting their emotional needs. It's not unheard of seeing him hugging a player when they're in despair, supporting them and letting them know how important they are. And yes, even breaking a couple boards and yelling at them a little bit. But it all is for motivation. As a teacher, there is no one more passionate as an educator, inspiring students through humor and stories that they learn to become more a part of the active learning process. As an advisor of natural helpers, he is a compassionate and empathetic human being, looking to support those in need and make sure there are resources for them to utilize. In short, he is everything Whitman, bleeding maroon and white every day. Despite this, Mr. Milazzo is one of the most humblest people you would ever meet to grace the halls of Walt Whitman High School. Within his career at Whitman, he has touched the lives of so many students, continuing to push his own growth as an educator to fit the needs of an ever-changing population, and despite what challenges students may face, he is always there for them. I can attest that Mr. Milazzo is the unsung hero of our school, embodying the qualities of a true educator, dedicated to his craft and the students he served. An example that teachers do make a difference in their students' lives, and those interactions can have a lasting effect. Mr. Milazzo can be seen on weekends preparing his lessons, coaching, or just staying late to help a teacher, or more importantly, a student. His constant presence and focus on students succeeding is why so many have come to know and love him as Mr. Whitman. Congratulations, Ralph. We're very proud of you. All right, no fedora for the picture. All right. Over here.
Do you have to hold the apple there?
Yep. All right. I don't want to drop it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Still up in there. Yeah. Thank you.
Let's try this again. At this time, please help me in welcoming Birchwood's principal, Mr. Debici Bernadelle, and South Huntington's Teacher of the Year, Ms. Dolores Lafano.
Good evening, Dr. D'Elia, Mr. Ciapetta, members of the Board of Education, members of the Cabinet, colleagues, and friends. It is my absolute pleasure to introduce to you Senora Dolores Refrano, Birchwood's Teacher of the Year and our South Huntington Teacher of the Year. Tonight, Dolores is joined by her father, Pedro, mother-in-law, Linda, father-in-law, Ralph, her sister, Jenny, her sister-in-law, Anna, her brother-in-law, Alejandro, her niece, Avery, her nephew, Vinny, her daughter, Isabella, her son, Lorenzo, and her husband, our very own self-proclaimed people's champ, Mr. Russell Refrano. There is no doubt that family is important to Dolores, especially the idea of the Birchwood family, since she met him right in the hallways of Birchwood. Being a teacher is a very special career. Teaching is not merely a profession, it's a calling, a vocation that requires not only knowledge, but also a deep sense of responsibility and passion for making a positive difference. You play an incredibly important and long-lasting role in the lives of others. You are responsible for the world's future and its most valuable resource, our children. So tonight, it's truly a celebration of the impact educators can have on shaping the future. Interesting enough, Dolores does not like the spotlight. Senora Refrano is not the type to let you know all of the spectacular things that she has done or how much time, effort, and work it took to create. What she will let you know is about all of the spectacular things that our current and former students are doing. She will let you know how proud of each and every one of them she is. This is what makes this even more special, because tonight we celebrate how in the last 20 years, as a 4th and 5th grade dual language educator at Birchwood, Dolores Refrano has quietly helped to shape the culture of our school by promoting a sense of family, pride, caring, compassion, and of course, Disney, each and every day. If we were to make a TikTok at Birchwood, Dolores would be the one to say, I work at Birchwood, so of course I love Disney. And she does it each and every day with a smile. Dolores, you don't know how much that smile impacts each and every person, each and every student, each and every colleague, and myself included. Your calm and cool presence reminds us all that everything's going to be okay. Senora Refrano has embraced the challenge of teaching in multiple languages and has created an environment of high expectations where students not only acquire language proficiency, but also develop a deep appreciation for cultural diversity. Dolores helps our students unlock their ability to not only think in English, but in Spanish. Her students understand that speaking and learning in a second language will support them far beyond the walls of Birchwood. She also recognizes the importance of fostering a supportive and nurturing community within the classroom, treating students like an extended family. Mrs. Refrano creates an atmosphere where students feel valued and supported, much like members of a loving family. To give you an example of this, I would like to share this quote from a letter written by one of her former students who is currently in college. Throughout my academic career, I have been posed with a series of challenges and adversities. But my beacon of hope was always Mrs. Refrano. I always thought of her kind words and unwavering support I received on her behalf, and it has always kept me pushing forward. As an administrator, I know I can count on Dolores to lead by example, inside and outside of the class. She is a true professional. Dolores gives of herself to the Birchwood school family, as well as she regularly gives her time and wisdom to those she works with. She has served on a number of district committees as a way to be a voice for the entire Birchwood school. Her insights and her insights are well received because they are grounded in reality and the knowledge of her profession. Dolores always makes sure to show her fun side as well by dancing in our annual pep rallies, dressing up on our spirit days. Occasionally, you might see her wearing her mini ears just because. It serves as a reminder to always be yourself, and it's okay to have fun. Dolores' impact on students goes beyond academics. It touches hearts and inspires a love for learning that lasts a lifetime. I would like to leave you with the same message that Mrs. Refrano has displayed on her door for her students to see every day. Sé el cambio que quieres ver en el mundo, which loosely translates to, be the change you want to see in the world. Dolores, thank you for being that change every day for our students. Congratulations on being our South Huntington Teacher of the Year.
So before I start, I just have to thank all of my current and former students that are here today. It makes me so happy to see all of you here. I would like to begin by thanking our superintendent, Dr. D'Elia, Mr. Chiappetta, members of our Board of Education, and members of the cabinet for honoring the work of teachers here in South Huntington. I would also like to thank my principal, Dimitri Bernadelle, and assistant principal, Renee Shum, as our leaders at Birchwood who provide us with support and guidance as we mold our students. Thank you to Cecilia Blanco, our Director of Dual Language and ENL, who is always trying to make our program better so that all of the students of South Huntington get their best chance to succeed. Thank you for always taking the time to listen to my input regarding making dual language the best that it can be. Thank you to my colleagues who took the time to write letters to nominate me as Teacher of the Year. I know how busy we all are with our teaching lives and our personal lives. The fact that you set aside time to nominate me makes this honor truly special. I believe that everything happens for a reason. As an undergraduate student, I was accidentally placed in a bilingual classroom for my student teaching requirement. That experience allowed me to develop a love for bilingual education and inspired me to pursue a master's degree with a bilingual extension. I had every intention of pursuing my degree at Queens College, the same college where I earned my bachelor's degree and was close to home. Instead, through a family friend, I learned of a bilingual grant program at Hunter College in Manhattan. Upon applying, I was accepted and met many inspiring people. Among them was a friend who happened to see a posting at Hunter College for a dual language teacher opening here at South Huntington. She is the one who pushed me to apply in this district. Prior to that, the furthest east this Queens girl had been on the Long Island, on Long Island was exit 41 of the Long Island Expressway. I was fortunate enough that Mr. Anthony Ciccarelli saw something special in this Queens girl. And hired me as a 5th grade dual language teacher. Now, in my 20th year at teaching dual language at Birchwood, I've had the privilege of working with and learning from so many hardworking and dedicated people. I'm completely humbled by the amount of genuine excitement from my Birchwood family at being chosen as a District Teacher of the Year. As Mr. Bernadelle mentioned, on my classroom door I have the quote, "Be the change you wish to see in the world." Although I hope that quote inspires my students, I actually have that on my door as a daily reminder to myself. If I want the future of the world, my students, to be respectful, I have to treat them with respect. If I want them to show kindness to others, I have to show them kindness. If I want my students to be hardworking, I too have to work hard. If I want them to be responsible people, I too have to be responsible. If I want my students to take risks, make mistakes, and learn from them, then I too must model that. Like most teachers, I love being in the classroom with my students. I love seeing the light in their eyes when they understand something. I love to hear them laugh as we learn and explore together. I love seeing the hesitant hand of a painfully shy student slowly rise into the air as he or she decides to take a risk. I love hearing my students work with their classmates in English and Spanish as they take ownership of their learning. I love hearing about the successes my students have as they make their way through life. Students, former and current, know that I am in awe of each and every one of you. You amaze me with the way you work in both English and Spanish in every single subject area. I can only hope that I have made as positive an impact in your lives as you have made in mine. You have each taught me in your own special way about being a better teacher and a better human being. Sometimes it's a new fact that you share with the class, and sometimes it's a new way to look at a book that I've been reading with my classes for years. Other times it's how to simply be a better human being through the way you support one another. Always remember to be proud of who you are. There's no one in this world like you. You are one of a kind, and each of you will always be in my heart. Know that I'm always cheering you on. I am among your biggest cheerleaders, whether you're in my classroom now or in my classroom 20 years ago. You are my measure of success, and I couldn't be more proud of all of you. I would like to end by thanking my family. Thank you to my parents and my sister, who always remind me where I came from and to be a humble and kind person. Thank you to my husband, Russell Rafrano, the people's champ, for listening to me vent when my day doesn't quite go as planned. Thank you to my children, Isabella and Lorenzo, for allowing me to be teacher mommy at home. Thank you for allowing me to be the best version of myself so I can be the best teacher possible to my students. Thank you all so much for this honor.
Yeah. Great job. Great speech. Let's have one more round of applause for all our Teachers of the Year. As I close out tonight's ceremony, I would be remiss not to share a story from this year's Hall of Fame breakfast. As I sat there on a rather cold and rainy morning, I was inspired by 2006 graduate, now Hall of Fame member, Edward Wu's speech. Ed is a renowned cinematographer who has had the opportunity to work in a variety of formats with Netflix, Miramax, Macro, Blumhouse, and Facebook, to name a few. His occupation has him interacting with celebrities and traveling the world, including recent shoots in Iceland, China, and India. During his speech, Ed did not share stories about his exciting profession or his exploits. Instead, he shared the impact one teacher had on the trajectory of his life. How one teacher tapped his shoulder at Walt Whitman High School and the doors of film opened to him. It may have just been our video yearbook that year, but it was the experiences he had in our hallowed halls that ignited a passion for film that paved the way for his success. Ed credits our very own and current Walt Whitman High School teacher, Roger Paquette, for seeing in him what at the time he could not see in himself. Now, my daughter Chloe is constantly asking why I do what I do. For her, it's easier to think of her dad as my old job as a principal than this assistant superintendent for human resources, which just sounds weird to her. After all, she sees her principal every day, most of the times for good reasons. So it's nights like tonight that I am certainly reminded of my why. I do what I do in the hopes I hire a teacher that someday will have the impact that Roger had on Ed. And to play a small role in that is certainly something special and I value. So as we end tonight and we celebrate Dolores, Sabrina, Beth Ann, Linda, Ralph, and Ginny, and Jenny, let's not forget the impact that just one teacher can have on the life of a child. Thank you. All right, one last picture. At this time, we're going to ask all our Teacher of the Year's, principal, all our recipients come up to our stairs over here so we get a group shot with all of our Board of Education as well. We're going to squeeze in to make some room. Do you want me to move this size? You want just teachers?
begin our business agenda now? All right, I'll take a motion to adopt the agenda. Ms. Meyer, second by Ms. LaCara. Any questions on the agenda? All in favor? Any opposed? All right. And that's it. Great job, Anthony. All right, moving on to first item, E through F require one resolution for adoption. Those are our minutes, financial items, bids, and bills. Is there a motion? Mr. Bronson, seconded by Mr. Joyner. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Communications, there are none this week. We'll move on to new business. And the first item of new business is the approval of a tax exemption for firefighters and volunteer ambulance workers. Motion? Mr. Bronson, seconded by Mr. Scragg. And this is a follow-up from last week, or last meeting, when we held a public hearing, and this would provide an exemption for volunteer firefighters, and the major change is it reduces the amount of service time from 5 years to 2 years. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Resolution 1 is adopted unanimously. Moving on to item number 2 is the approval of a tax exemption for senior citizens. Motion. Ms. LaCara, seconded by Mr. Biangasso. And this was also discussed at our January 10th public hearing. This provides a tax exemption for senior citizens, and the major change is that it increases the highest level of income for the tax exemption, and it now goes up to $58,400. And those people are eligible for a 5% reduction in assessed valuation. Are there any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, moving on to new business. Item 3 is the last of our tax exemptions, and this is for persons with disabilities. Is there a motion? Mr. Biangasso, seconded by Mr. Scragg. And this was based on a public hearing also on January 10th, and this is very similar to the senior citizen exemption in that it raises the income threshold all the way to $58,400 for a 5% reduction. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Item 3 is adopted unanimously. All right, we'll go on to new business item number 4, which is the adoption of a new board policy, 8130.2, for workplace violence prevention. Is there a motion? Ms. Meyer, seconded by Mr. Bronson. Mr. Smith, can you tell us about this policy?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Ciapetta. This policy is the first step in being in compliance with New York State Labor Law 27B, which requires all employers to develop and implement programs to prevent workplace violence.
Okay, great. And what will be the following? What else will come after this?
Next steps, the district will be doing a risk assessment. We'll be meeting with our safety team to identify areas that could be possibly areas of violence within the district, as well as following up with that same safety team to develop a plan for future reference.
Any questions or comments from Mr. Smith on the policy? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, we're moving on to new business. Item number 5 is the approval of a health services agreement between South Huntington and West Islip. Motion. Mr. Scragg, seconded by Mr. Biangasso and Mr. Bronson. Mr. Conway?
Yes, thank you very much. Tonight, for the board's approval, is a contract between the district with West Islip and South Huntington that is for health services to be provided for 6 students attending private school within that district that reside in South Huntington.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, moving on to new business item number 6 is the approval of a district of location agreement between South Huntington Union Free School District and the Deer Park School District. Is there a motion? Ms. Meyer, seconded by Mr. Bronson. Dr. Fulton.
Sorry, can't reach. Yes, this is an agreement between our district for your approval. We have a student who is attending Our Lady of Guadalupe in the Deer Park School District, and they would like to provide special education services for them. Since it is a South Huntington resident, the district location has to provide those for that student.
Okay. Great. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Moving on to new business, item number 7 is the approval of health services agreements between the South Huntington School District and the following districts. Ms. LaCara, should I read them all or no? No. Okay, I agree. Yes. Districts ranging from Amityville to Wyandanch in alphabetical order. Motion. Ms. Meyer, seconded by Ms. LaCara. Dr. Fulton?
These are all the agreements that we have. All these students typically attend one of our in-district private schools, St. Anthony's, Long Island School for the Gifted, or Montessori. These are fees that we charge for our health services within our local school district back to the school district of the sending students.
Okay. Any questions on the 50-plus contracts? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, moving on to new business. Item number 8 is the approval for the superintendent and myself to attend the Spirit of Love art auction on February 8th at Condrey Hall. Is there a motion? Ms. LaCara, seconded by Mr. Bronson. This is a exciting event. We were invited to represent the district, and there's going to be a couple honorees, including our former superintendent, Dr. Bernardo, and Spirit of Love art auction also benefits the Spirit of Huntington, which now occupies our former library. So it's a nice event. Any questions? Good sledding. Hopefully there'll be no snow on the ground. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, moving on to new business. Item number 9 is the approval of an extension of probation for an employee. Is there a motion? Mr. Bronson, seconded by Mr. Scragg and Mr. Biangasso. Any questions on this matter discussed in executive session? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, and moving on to new business, item number 10 is the approval of a scholarship. Motion. Mr. Bronson, seconded by Mr. Joyner. Dr. D'Elia?
Yes, this is coming from the Mashera Family Health Services. Anthony Mashera is a 1972 Walt Whitman graduate, and he would like to offer an annual scholarship to a graduating senior who is interested in the area of health services. And I must say, it's a very generous scholarship of $2,500 a year. And just quoting Mr. Mashera, he's forever grateful for his Walt Whitman High School, and the teachers and the coaches who have helped him along the way.
No, very nice, very generous. Thank you. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? New business item 10 is approved unanimously. Moving on to new business item number 11 is the approval of a confidentiality and data security and privacy agreement. Actually, several agreements. Motion. Mr. Scragg, seconded by Mr. Biangasso. Dr. Steele.
Yes, we have 2 digital learning platform agreements tonight. One is the Age of Learning, which is a reading and math practice for our primary grades. And the other is an agreement with Savis, and that will allow us to safely use their digital platform as we move into the second phase of our ELA pilot in grades K through 6.
Okay, great. Any questions for Dr. Steele? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, moving on to item number 12 is the approval of a confidential personnel resolution for a contract. Is there a motion? Mr. Bronson, seconded by Ms. Meyer. And this is, any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, so that was the contract. Last meeting, it was at a late hour, we appointed Amanda Kavanaugh as Assistant Superintendent for Secondary Education, grades 7 to 12, and this now approves and authorizes her contract. And she'll be beginning with South Huntington, on February 12th. And so we want to congratulate Amanda Kavanaugh again and welcome her. Congratulations. Would you like to say anything? Thank you.
Yes, this was a very rigorous process, and we had a lot of tremendous candidates that applied, and that shows a statement towards South Huntington. And Amanda came out on top, and we are very fortunate to have her. And we started working today, so I know she starts officially on February 12th, but she's working 2 places right now. On the 12th, it'll be 1. But thank you.
All right, congratulations and welcome to South Huntington. All right, moving on to new business. Item number 13 is the approval of amended contract for a public relations consultant. Is there a motion? Mr. Bronson, seconded by Mr. Joyner. Dr. Murphy?
Yes, this is an amendment to a current employee because of some of the things that they're going to be added to their contract to help with streaming services as well as website design and implementation. So it's just adjusting their contract.
Okay. All in favor of new business item 13? Any opposed? Resolution is approved unanimously. And we have one more public relation contract to adjust. Is there a motion? Mr. Joyner, seconded by Mr. Scragg. Dr. Murphy again?
Yes, same thing. As we've kind to revamp our public relations office and just assign certain roles and responsibilities, it's just an adjustments of duties and responsibilities.
Great. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, we're moving on to item 15, last item of new business, the recommendations of the placement of students by the Committee on Special Education and the Committee on Preschool Special Education, various states listed. Motion. Ms. Meyer, seconded by Mr. Bronson. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, moving on to personnel. We have personnel schedules 3, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 16, 17, 20, and 22 for approval. Do we have a motion? Mr. Scragg, seconded by Ms. LaCara. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, information and reports are listed. Committee reports. Dr. Steele, you have a DEI committee update?
Yes, we had our first meeting in November, and we took the time to look at examples of other districts who have had a committee going for quite some time. So this is the first time we are embarking on this as a district. We started by devising an initial mission statement that we are still working on. It's a work in progress, and establishing goals for the district. We are plan on, and we have been looking at the feedback over our work that we've been doing with equity over the past 3 years. So we are going to embark on our work based on that feedback and looking at the framework of the culturally sustaining framework by New York State. So we're going to begin looking at our welcoming and affirming environment and ensuring that we are doing the best that we can here to make everybody feel welcomed and part of the district.
Thank you, Dr. Steele. All right, future meetings are listed. We've been meeting a lot. We get a little break. Our next meeting will be on February 14th when we'll be presenting the budget overview, followed by budget work sessions on March 6th and March 20th. All those meetings are at the James Caden Administrative Offices. Comments by board members. Mr. Bronson.
Not so much of a comment other than just to again congratulate all the teachers. It's someone mentioned that it's one of the best nights as a board member in the district. Also, just want to remind everybody that the next audit committee meeting, for those that would like to attend, it's a very exciting meeting. That will be on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, that Mr. Biangasso and I will be hosting. So the district auditor will be there, as well as we'll be going through our claims reports.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Bronson. Look forward to the report. Any other comments? Ms. Meyer.
Yeah, nobody can see me over here. It's such a great night, South Huntington Teacher of the Year celebration, but I also want to make sure that we're thanking and acknowledging all the administrators that we have in our district as well. Because you do what you do and you do it so well, it truly gives our teachers the availability, the resources, and the breath that they need to truly shine and to impact all of these students. So please know that we are so, so, so grateful for everything that you do as well.
Thank you, Ms. Meyer. Any other comments by board members? A couple upcoming events, both on actually February 26th. January 26th, we have the Woburn High School Senior Banquet, and also we have Magic Masters at the Woburn High School North Gymnasium, both on January 26th. Magic Masters always very well attended. And Facilities Committee will be meeting on January 29th. Dr. D'Elia?
Yes, last week the governor came out with her executive budget proposal, and fortunately here in South Huntington, we did receive an increase of nearly from budget to budget for about $4 million. But unfortunately for a lot of places, especially 43 school districts, which will be receiving less money than they did the year prior. In years prior here, we've been getting generous increases of about $13 million, which we're very fortunate, and we've added a lot of things, a lot of wonderful programs. We've added positions, teachers. This year, you know, what our celebration needs to be is all the great things we've added and how to we're going to be able to hopefully looking pretty good that we'll be able to sustain everything. Where other districts are going to be deciding based on the governor's proposal how many positions they're going to be cutting, namely in those 43 districts, because I think there's a misconception with what the governor sees as what these school districts have in their bank accounts. Just for example, Three Village received over an $8 million decrease, and I don't know if they have $8 million in the bank. Manhasset School District has about $2 million in reserves. So there's a misconception here, and where our hope is, and listen, we're grateful that we received 5.5% increase, but as I enter into Albany in March, I will be fighting on behalf of Albany, and I have to be careful because people are losing $8 million. We just got $5 million, so my cry may not be as loud as theirs, but I still will be crying for more support and help for our students here because I still don't believe we are funded as we should be. So that will be my mission in March. But the great thing is we've established a lot of great and wonderful programs that we'll highlight through the budget workshops that we're going to be able to keep. And, you know, so we have great things here in South Huntington, and we're fortunate we're going to keep them as opposed to other districts where they're going to have some really, really tough decisions. So that's my report.
Okay, great. Dr. Lee, yeah, just to follow up on that, this obviously has been the big talk, and I think the governor made a serious error on this one, and it's been met very swiftly in bipartisan fashion, condemnation of this budget. And it's very rare that you see districts cut in foundation aid, almost unheard of. And Nassau Suffolk School Boards Association is on this, and, you know, as Dr. D'Elia said, you know, the notion has been always of save harmless, and, you know, if, while we're not affected, we still want to fight for it because we could be affected in the future, because once that principle goes away, there's no telling what kind of damage it could be. There was a webinar from Nassau Suffolk School Boards Association, and this reduction by the governor has cost Nassau schools $10.9 million and Suffolk schools $32.7 million for a total of $43 million. And that's really a devastating and crushing blow for Long Island. And one of the things that we saw was that the foundation aid formula, which there is movement to change completely and needs to be overhauled, the governor kind of tweaked the formula this year to end up with this result. Originally, usually you would factor in a 10-year average of the consumer price index, and, excuse me, a 12-month average. So that would have been a 4.1% inflation increase. But instead this year they changed it to a 10-year average, which resulted in inflation being reduced to 2.4%. And by just doing that, foundation aid in the tune of $300 million was lost. So incredibly significant, you know, and we need to, you know, we were fortunate to get an increase. As Dr. D'Elia said, we still believe we're underfunded, but we need to stand shoulder to shoulder with those districts that did lose money, because we could be in that same situation in a future year if the save harmless policy is not followed through with. Comments by ex officio student member. Mr. Smellian is not with us tonight. Voice of the residents. Any residents? Hello. Oh, there's a couple.